Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Black Sac. The format recently, since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles dropped, has been a little bit more aggressive against Black Sac because there's so much mono red madness in the format, which is not one of our worst matchups, but it's definitely on our lower end. They, especially assuming they know how to play correctly, which is playing as a mono red control deck versus us, it can be a pretty tough matchup to win sometimes. But also Grixis Affinity has been a lot more popular. White Weenie's been a lot more popular. Golgari Food Pest, since it did super well in Paupergeddon, getting top 8, has been a little bit more prevalent, and that's another deck that's not always the worst, but definitely a tough one. Depending on your list, Elves has become a better matchup, so that being a lot more prevalent isn't as bad if you have enough removal. But there are a lot of these decks that are just making the deck a little bit more difficult to play, and so I figured we would try to figure out how to make those better. So, main new card that I'm trying out right now, not new, but it is Apostle's Blessing. People have tried this in the past, and I'm certainly, I've tried it as well, and it was never my favorite, but I think we might as well try it again. It's a protection spell. You have to pay 2 life for it since we're not obviously playing white mana, but you pay just 1 generic mana, and you can give a creature protection from artifacts or from the color of your choice until end turn. This is also great because it can operate as a multi-use spell. It can be protection against a removal spell, of course, is its primary use, but it can also give unblockability against, like White Weenie, for example, getting rid of their ability to block with any of their white creatures. And so it can do a couple different things, which is really strong. In addition to Apostle's Blessing, I'm playing 4 Sadistic Glees. Usually I play 2 of these, and that's not... it's pretty typical to play just a couple of them, or not to play them at all. But Sadistic Glee is particularly good against Mono Red Madness, because you can get your creatures out of range of dying to just a bolt or 2 really quickly. And so this list is kind of trying to solve the meta as a whole with Apostle's Blessing, but also just trying to be like a Red Madness killer with the Sadistic Glees. But these can also be really good in Grixis and things like that if you put them on a flyer, like the insect from Infestation Sage, because then it's hard for them to kill that. Otherwise, we're playing pretty much the same cards you'd see in my stock list, although I've obviously reduced the number of some of these. So we're playing 3 Bloodthorn Vampires to make room for some of the other cards here. 4 Mortician Beetle, 4 Carrion Feeder. I'm playing just 1 Rite of Consumption. I figure the Apostle's Blessings can kind of operate as a Rite of Consumption, giving unblockability, so maybe we just need 1 of those, ideally. 3 Supernatural Stamina, 2 Unearth. This is just still what I really like, the numbers that I like with these. I would maybe play a couple more of these if I had room, but there's just too many cards to fit in. 4 Infestation Sage, Nested Shambler, Nezumi Linkbreaker. I'm playing back down to 2 Shambling Ghasts. I've been playing 4 in my stock list and really enjoying it, but for now, when you're trying new cards, got to cut something. So 2 of those, 2 Tragic Slips, and 4 Village Rites, 17 lands. Sideboard, I haven't changed here. 2 Rotten Reunions, 2 Tragic Slip, 2 Vampiric Link, a way that I've been, a card I've been using to try to beat red recently. Still playing a 1 of Life Staff, but Life Staff's really awkward in multiples, so the Vampiric Links are better there. 2 Accursed Marauder, 2 Mesmeric Fiend, 2 Dryad and Sorrow, a Spinning Darkness, and a Nile Spellbomb. So let's just take this for a league and see how we do. Hail to the Black Sac King. Apostle's Blessing plus Sadistically seems like a non-bow against black removal. Yes, that can be the case for sure. I think that the deck, sometimes there are just some non-bows. I mean, Spinning Darkness is kind of a non-bow in the sideboard with Unearth and graveyard cards like that. I don't think... I mean, we'll see how it comes up. If it's super bad, maybe we should be not playing more Sadistic Glees in a list with Apostle's Blessing. But I think that it's something that I'm interested in trying. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, if your creature is big enough with the Sadistic Glee, like if it already has 5 counters or something, and they try to cast it down, the Apostle's Blessing, yeah, it drops the Sadistic Glee, but if you already have a big enough creature that they're trying to kill it, it might not be that big of a deal if you lose the Glee. Whereas if you put it on just like a 1/1, they're probably not going to want to kill it until it actually has a few counters. So, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. You definitely could be right about that. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sac and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the the decks that I'm very proficient in. Or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. All right, getting into our first match here. This hand is okay. It's a little linear. It only really has one thing that it does, which is makes a big vampire. So it could definitely be a little susceptible if the vampire dies. Obviously, we have an unearth, but if it gets exiled or something, obviously we could sacrifice it to itself. But I don't know. We'll see. Quirion Ranger. We do have a Shambling Ghast and an unearth for it, so if we're against elves, this could also be walls or something, then it might be an okay spot. This is why I led on the Shambling Ghast, was in case they were elves or something like this. I can definitely just pick off their creature. Leading with the Quirion Ranger, the only... Oh, they're actually just going to chump block, or trade, rather, but that's interesting. I mean, seeing as I have the ability to sacrifice it to ping something off anyway, I don't think it's unreasonable that they did that, but definitely not what I was expecting. I was going to say that I probably wasn't going to sack the Shambling Ghast right away for it, because the Quirion Ranger is really only good on... It really only is relevant on turn 1 if they didn't have another forest and they could untap, or rather bounce the forest and then use it again. They have plenty of Quirion Rangers is why they did that, it appears. So yeah, I mean, they didn't want the Shambling Ghast to trade for 2 of these or something, so I get it. Play a Sage, swing, probably just going to take it, I would assume. Aggressively trading with our guys is something I'm pretty okay with. I probably want to unearth the Shambling Ghast, but I don't necessarily need to do that right now. I could pick off the Quirion Ranger, obviously, but again, unless they don't have another land, it's not that relevant. Plus, I might have like a Priest of Titania or something that they might have a Priest that I want to pick off instead. Opponent's just casually most of the way to assembling Quirion Exodia. Yeah, luckily Quirions are not that effective just by themselves. I think we'll save the unearth. If I unearth the Shambling Ghast, then it's possible, depending on what we draw, like we could, theoretically, we could miss lethal, like if I needed to sack the, or needed to unearth the Infestation Sage and I draw like a Village Rites and do an Apostle's Blessing for no blocks and like all this stuff. Like, it's unlikely, but I just don't really need to do it right now, so let's just wait. Overgrown Battlement. Okay, so they are not elves. They're walls. It could just be regular walls, but not sure about that either. Could be Spy, but I have no idea. Beetle's decent. Now that they have a battlement, I probably do want to unearth the Shambling Ghast. Just pick off the Ranger to reduce their mana. And we'll sack pre-combat here, because if I just attack, not knowing that I have the Shambling Ghast, they'll probably just chump block, I would assume. And if they're walls, I actually don't have that many targets to pick things off with the Shambling Ghasts. Whereas if they're elves, I obviously would have a lot more. They're just going to take it. I can't make it lethal. I don't think there's a reason to sack anything, so we'll just pass. I mean, we're in an okay spot, but to be honest, without any more interaction or anything, they could definitely just have the combo pretty quick here. Winding Way, reveals Gendersent, Llanowar Elves, Fyndhorn Elves. Okay. Still can't tell if they're Spy, but it looks like they're actually just a split between walls and elves, which is usually a Spy deck, done in a Spy deck. Forest and Fyndhorn Elves. They have a lot of mana. Caretaker gives them black. We just have a Sage. Well, we definitely have lethal if they don't block the vampire, so at least they have to chump something. There's no way I can make the beetle lethal, though. So we'll sack a Sage here. Hit for 5. I mean, they've had 4 forests, so maybe they're not Spy. Maybe they're just like walls, elves, ramp into something. All right. Well, I don't know exactly what they are, but we have enough of an inclination that obviously like Tragic Slips are good. Drown in Sorrow may be good enough. We saw Quirions, Llanowars, and Fyndhorn Elves. Spinning Darkness kills something. Boys to Men subscribed with Prime. Thanks so much for that. I appreciate it. Hope the Hedron serves you well. Okay, Apostle's Blessing can be decent because it can just give us unblockability. Shambling Ghast was good here. We don't yet know if the Graveyard matters, so I'm probably not bringing in Rotten Reunion, because I'm kind of just expecting, currently, I could be wrong, but with 4 forests, everything green, it kind of just seems like it's half walls, half elves ramp into Avenging Hunter, or maybe even Cascade creatures. Drown seems like it could be good, but it could also be bad if they just get the walls half. I think we'll probably just do these 3. Best MTG content creator. That is very kind of you to say. I appreciate it. Well, Sadistically is good, but we can probably cut down on one of those, because I don't want to cut too much fodder. I'm not sure they'll have removal, so I think maybe 1 Apostle's Blessing keeping in for basically as an unblockability is fine, and then maybe 1 Link Breaker. Alright, we'll see how that does. Alright, we're gonna keep, this is the classic Beetles without a full sack outlet. I do have the Village Rites, but if we don't find like a Carrion Feeder or something, then it's not amazing. We'll start with the Beetle, but double Beetle with the Village Rites and some fodder seems good enough. I do have a Tinder Wall as well. Just more indications that it's maybe walls something. A Village Rites. So I can't attack this turn. Just Sage and pass. I mean, we can at least make the Beetles 3/3s. That's something. If they like block with the Tinder Wall, I can get them with the double Village Rites. Another Battlement. Tapping for 3. Axebane Guardian. Yeah. Just so much mana. Another Village Rites. Alright, well, we're just going to attacks. See if they want to block anything. Obviously, I would love for Axebane to block here, Tinderwall to block here, but I think that's unlikely. Maybe Tinderwall blocks, but yeah. They even block in a way that if I do have 2 Village Rites, it doesn't do much. So we're going to do this anyway. Might as well get the extra damage. Draw 2. Another Village Rites. I really need to try to find like a Tragic Slip or something this turn, so I think we're just going to sack this as well. We do get a Carrion Feeder. Well, if they have us dead, we're dead, but we have Carrion Feeder. Next turn I can play a million things and attack with a bunch. Thoughts on the prepare mechanic for Pauper? I know we've only seen 1 common with it so far. I think we've seen 2 actually. There's a 2/1 for 2 in blue that has a divination for 5 mana and just enters prepared. And then there's a 1 mana 1/1 that enters with a rampant growth. Neither of those cards seem particularly good. Oh my gosh, if they only have creatures like more ramp, like these each tap for 6 and they don't have anything to play. So we can definitely make this lethal, so they have to block with at least 1. Because this is currently 7. Everything we sacrifice is going to be 3 more. So this could be 6 times 3 is 18, 25. So they certainly have to block 1, maybe block 2. I mean, even then they still have a ton of mana. So I pretty much have to dodge them gaining stuff for 2 turns. I think because of that, we'll actually still go for a Village Rites here. We can still make them probably chump block something, but if I get like a Tragic Slip, Spinning Darkness, anything like that, it can help. Anyway, Prepared Mechanic. I mean, it seems like if we get a card for the right rate, it seems really good. The 2 that we've seen so far, they have a counterspell. I'm prepared to be amazed by this counterspell. Mirror Shell Crab, maybe. Spell Stutter was also something I was going to suggest as a possibility. I am amazed. That's really funny. Well, I'll just play a couple more then. I guess we're not going to go for the Village Rites because I do want to play enough of these to make these decently lethal. So yeah, I think both of those cards that we've seen with prepared so far are not amazing. Like the Divination one is not terrible, but it's really expensive. It's a 2/1 with no abilities and then 5 mana for a Divination. If it was like a 2/1 flyer would be pretty strong, but if it was a 2/1, I don't know, even with some random throwaway ability, Vigilance or something, could be pretty good. And then maybe if it was like 4 mana for the Divination. All right, they chump here, so I don't actually have to sack anything. I'd only get 1 damage per, which I would do if we had the Link Breaker to get the Mercenary, but since we don't, I guess I still probably want to get some damage with this. So let's do this, but we'll just do the 1. Opponent's list is kind of wild. I agree. It is very interesting. If they draw a Lead the Stampede or something, we're probably cooked because they have 25 mana. 28, so we just need them to draw nothing for like 1 or 2 turns. Yeah, so the blue one, I'm not loving. The green one, 1/1 for 1. Again, if it had like reach or something, could be decent. All right, we got there. It is just rampant growth on the 1/1. Kind of reminds me of like an Arboreal Grazer. Obviously, it's not exactly the same because it doesn't have reach. It's not an 0/3, so it doesn't block well. And it doesn't have... you have to pay 2 extra mana for the rampant growth, but it is just card advantage, whereas Arboreal Grazer isn't. It also kind of reminds me of like Colony Garden, as it's a creature and a land stapled together, so you can play the creature, rampant growth, which is obviously more card advantage because you're getting a full land and a creature. I guess that's about the same. And then you could like sacrifice it to a Fanatical Offering or something, but realistically, I don't think either of those are very good. But I don't think that's an issue of the prepared mechanic. I think it's just the rates of those cards that we saw. If the Bear was a 2/2 for 1, it would be great in like a green Stompy, and then if it also had like a rampant growth or something. So I'm pretty hopeful. I think we'll probably get at least 1 playable prepare common, but not 100% sure. I think the card I've seen from the new set that I'm most excited about right now is the it's not going to be hyper competitive, but cool to brew around, is the Spirit Mascot, the red-white 2/2. Whenever a card leaves your graveyard, it gets a +1/+1 counter. That could be very interesting in like an Eidolon's shell. You can just fully shift the Dimir Eidolon's deck to like Boros. I've already kind of started brewing a list of that, which I'll probably try to play at some point. This hand's okay, so we're going to keep it. But yeah, we have a few... there are a few multicolored discard spells like Thrilling Discovery. You can actually still play Abandoned Attachments as a multicolored looting effect, but paying the red for it now in this Boros list. And yeah, there's some cool stuff. Okay, we're against Orzhov Blade, maybe? Because we have this Apostle's Blessing, and frankly our hand is not amazing, I'm going to play things a little slow, and I'm just going to play Carrion Feeder, hold up Blessing. If they have like a cast down, I can protect it. There's a cast down. Oh, I guess, yeah, this works either way. Pro Black. Maybe you could play the Bear and Spy. I'm not a Spy player, so maybe Spy players would say that's a terrible idea, but honestly that doesn't sound unreasonable to me. Okay, they do have another cast down, but no land drop. Alright, I don't really want to sacrifice things while they might have like a Blade or something, but I think we could just play out Carrion Feeder and Vampire now. Yeah, honestly, that doesn't sound bad. It's not a wall or anything, but it's a 1/1, and then you can Rampant Growth to find one of your 4 lands. There's the Tithing Blade. We'll sack the Shambler. Obviously, putting Sadistic Glee on Shambler is really good, but this is what this Tithing Blade is for. I just don't want to Sadistically anything yet. We're only getting in for 3, but if they have like a Skyfisher, pick up the Tithing Blade. I don't want to sack Squirrel or anything. Morning Boss, man, what new cards are you trying? I was late to stream. We are trying this Apostle's Blessing, which already saved our creature once. That's the only new card. I'm also just playing 4 Sadistic Glees to see how that'll work out. Play a 2-mana refurb. Link Breaker's good. I think now I could Sadistically on Squirrel, but then if they block it here, I have to sack both Link Breaker and Mercenary to keep it alive, in which case dies to another Tithing Blade. Something dies to a Tithing Blade, but to be honest, they have so little mana, I think it might be okay. Because even if they have a Skyfisher, they can't pick up the Tithing Blade and replay it right away. If they just have another Tithing Blade, they have no blockers, so I think that's... I've seen people wondering whether Jeskai Spirits is a jank brew that can work. Sifters feels kind of essential. Yes and no. I agree that Sifters is a card I would want to fit in there, especially because the mascot is... a spirit, which is perfect. I don't know if I'd say it's essential because I think the mascot takes the same place, right? It replaces it as a 2-drop that grows as you do your value engine. And so I don't think you necessarily need both, although obviously having both would be great. The mana could just be a little tough potentially, but I don't think that's unreasonable either. All right, can we just win here? If I put Sadistically on Carrion Feeder, we have 4, 5. If they block here, then we have 5, goes up to 8, goes up to 11. Not quite lethal. I think it's still worth it. I'll still Sadistically onto the Carrion Feeder here. But yeah, if you can make the mana work, I think having the Sifter and the mascot in the same deck seems pretty good. Since it's a 4/1, you should have played Pauper in a different TCG. LOL. I did post a April Fool's short on the channel, but I couldn't think of anything goofy to do for this, so I just decided to actually play it seriously. Let's redo our math. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so I can't kill them, but I can keep Vampire alive by sacking the Mercenary. Kills their guy. These both grow. Yeah, it's still pretty good. I was expecting a fake Black Sac list considering the day. Mascot is fundamentally different. Might carry a Jeskai or Boris version of the deck. Yeah, it keep paying 2 mana for this refurb is really funny. If they have no land drop, then I just have lethal on board. I'd have tried a funny Black Sac list idea, but with none of the staples of the deck for the day. You know, look, I did a little bit. It's not a bad idea. I have been very busy with trying to figure out... Like, I just updated the Black Sac list, but now the meta's gotten worse to Black Sac, so I almost feel like I need to think about updating that again. But I'm also updating the White Weenie guide based on Leonardo, which is coming, I promise. But I'm also trying to make Esper work. So I needed this time to actually try to test some stuff out. But I appreciate the day. Alright, so what are we doing here? Ron Reunions, Mesmeric Fiends. Don't really need Tragic Slips or anything. Shambling Ghast is not super needed either. Could just straight cut those. Blessing's good, obviously, against Cast Down. Ready Consumption still seems good. I think we could probably just do this switch. Nothing else I think really needs to go or come in. The meta issue of Black Sac is due to the current popularity of Grixis Affinity. Yes, that is one of the parts. So Grixis Affinity being more popular is, I would say... Based on my experience, our second worst matchup of any deck ever. Number 1 being Borosynth. Obviously without Krark. Like, Krark is tough, but in my experience, Borosynth is just even worse because they just play so many removal spells, both burn spells and like Journey to Nowheres. And then Grixis has Krarks, but they also only have 4 Galvanic Blasts, which makes it a little easier. So yeah, Grixis being more prevalent is making Black Sac harder to win. White Weenie has gotten a bump because of Leonardo, which makes that's another tough matchup. Food Pest has been getting popularity. These are all decks that I enjoy playing, so I'm not upset that they're doing well, but obviously them making Black Sac worse is unfortunate. Food Pest is a tough one, and Red Madness obviously has been around, but it's just more and more popular, it seems, all the time. With Paupergeddon, it was extremely popular there. Now it didn't even make top 8, so it's not necessarily the best thing ever. Could get rid of Kyrian Feeder, but then if they kill the other one, I don't have anything. I guess I get rid of Sadistic Glee. So yeah, all these decks that have just gained a little popularity or gotten a boost recently have made the deck a little bit worse. Best prank would be 4-0 drop and immediately end to the video, especially since YouTube video won't be posting 4-1. They never see it coming. That would be very funny. We'll have to see about that. All right, they could Tithing and then Glint Hawk. They could Refurb, but it would be 3 mana. That's tough. Stock list are testing something different. We are testing Apostle's Blessing. I should probably just say it in the stream title. Apostle's Blessing and some more Sadistic Glees. Here we go. Stream title says it now. Grim Bauble. Yeah, so they target the Carrion Feeder. I have to sack 2 things, and then if they have Glint Hawk to rebuy it, I have to sack 2 more things. Then I have a 5/5, but then they just cast it down or something. I could just let it go with our Carrion Feeder in hand, but I feel like I want to at least fight over it. Maybe if they bobble it again, I let it go. But then I might as well just have it as a 5/5 and make them use the cast down. I don't know. Okay. Maybe they just don't have anything else. I mean, if they have a cast down, they should probably just use it. Not let me have the opportunity to Village Rites our guy, or Supernatural Stamina it, or what have you. Apostle's Blessing is nice. We're going to keep the Swamp for a Refurb. Kraken for 4. Pass to them. They have 2 artifacts, or artifact and enchantment, that have, okay, they have a Fanatical. Gotcha. I was going to say, they both have 3 mana activations, and they didn't have 3 mana, but I guess Offering's pretty good there. There's the Refurb. Map onto it. Black Mage's Rod, okay. Stamina's good. So, if I attack with this feeder, and they block, which they probably would, would have to Stamina the Sage, and then sack 3 of the 4 fodder to keep this alive. I don't really like that. So I think I'm just going to attack with these 2. I think an important thing to keep in mind when playing this deck is that you don't want to invest a bunch of resources into something that could then just be killed. Because like if I'm forced to sacrifice 3 of our 4 fodder here and then they have the cast down, which I do have the Apostle's Blessing right now, but if they had something else, like, it would just be kind of rough. They block the Carrion Feeder, so that is going to force me to... I could just sack the Sage, but obviously I want to get stamina value. So we're going to sack the Sage here, make this a 4/4. See, here, I only had to sacrifice 1 piece of fodder for potentially the same result, only missing out on a couple damage if they had blocked the Carrion Feeder. So I think it was better this way. I kind of thought they'd have a cast down or something afterwards. Or a Fanatical Offering at least. A little surprised there. Hopeless Nightmare is annoying. This is not like Refurb. They don't draw a card if I don't discard, so part of me thinks maybe I should just Apostle's Blessing one of our guys. But I lose 2 life, which is not super relevant, but also, like, if they have a cast down or something, they just use it in response. So it doesn't really matter. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to lose this. Theoretically, if they had, like, a sorcery speed targeted removal spell, this could save it for the turn, but I think that's not going to be the case. Them sacking a Hopeless Nightmare is, that's a pretty good indication they're hopeless. They were doing okay. I mean, they've been behind the whole game, but, like, sacking that main phase is crazy. Forlorn Flats, I have 7 damage on board. I don't want to sack the Sage. It would give me an extra damage, but if I get, like, another Stamina or something, I'd like it to be on the field. Swamp, we're just going to hold in hand. I mean, we're in a good spot, but we are running out of stuff. They did scry 1 to the top, so they have something relevant coming. Skyfisher. That's funny. Holding something in hand for a Refurb is a good idea so they don't draw a card, but for the Nightmare is actually just a waste. Hello, do you have an ETA for updated White Weenie Guide? I cannot fully promise anything, but my goal is within the next week or week and a half. Like by the 11th or 12th is my goal for the White Weenie Guide update. All right, Shrivel, really not that bad. We keep this one alive by sacrificing the Insect here, and then I could double sacrifice this to make this a 4/4. Okay. Often I would like to let the Shrivel resolve and let the Sage die to make a 1/1, so I have that fodder for later, but seeing as they're at 8 and I can make my guys 8 power and they've already used up their mana for the turn, I think it's better to do this, because then I force a chump block from the Skyfisher. We also just get a Vampire, which is pretty good. At least it made them use the Hopeless Nightmare rather than holding it. That is true. That's not irrelevant. You're right. They need something pretty good. Unless they had something in hand, if I were them, I probably would have sacked the Nightmare in the upkeep. Try to find something. But I guess they kind of need double cast down to have a shot. They gave us a GG, though, so I think we got there. Yeah, game 1 they were screwed, and then this time they were flooded. Unlucky. They said they're a fan, which is always heartwarming, and that they'd love to see me at Pauper getting Luca, which, hey, I'd love to be there. Might be a little tough, cost-wise, though. All right, halfway to the 4-0 drop. That's the dream. All right, this is the classic trap hand. You should not keep a hand like this. If I had mulliganed to 6, maybe. If I had mulliganed to 5, definitely. Like, if I mulliganed to 6 here, I would just put back a swamp. Mulligan to 5, I'd put back a swamp and an Infestation Sage. But on 7, this just doesn't do anything. If we top deck a Carrion Feeder, this hand's great. But if we don't, we lose the game. Like, if we don't get a Carrion Feeder or a Vampire within the next 3 turns, I would say, we basically lose the game. And you can't afford that. This hand is pretty good. Assuming we don't get Graveyard Hated because of our 2 Unearths, we have quite a bit of fodder, Vampire, and a protection spell for the Vampire. Question is what we get rid of. If I get rid of Unearth, I only have 4 pieces of fodder, which is not bad. I think since we're trying the Apostle's Blessing, and also I just think it's pretty good, since we only have, 1 Vampire, I think we should probably keep that. Although I have the Unearths for the Vampire to come back. Maybe that's actually a reason. If they do kill the Vampire, I get to Unearth it. So I already have protection for it. Whereas if they don't kill the Vampire, I actually have triple Unearth. Okay. I know we're trying Apostle's Blessing, but I actually think I talked myself into keeping the Unearths. Spirit I was talking about got revealed. I see we're talking about it from the chat. Oh, yes. Yeah. It seems pretty sweet. I've definitely already started brewing a Boros Eidolon deck around it, and I'm sure it'll be terrible, but I will probably play it on the channel. Beetle's a great draw. We get to just Vampire attack the Link Breaker, where it looks like against Grixis Affinity. We have a really good aggressive start, assuming they don't just get a Kraken kill our guys, or even just like Galvanic Blast our Vampire. It wouldn't be the worst because I can Unearth a Beetle. Blood Fountain. Hello, I'm looking for Jund gameplay, and you popped up. Have you seen the Jund with 4 Gixians? I have. I've played Jund with Gixian a couple of times on the channel. I mean, if I discard Unearth, then I have a Beetle and an Unearth, whereas if I discard a Beetle, then I can get back the Beetle if I want. This is basically the same thing, but I think it makes sense to get rid of the Beetle here. If they had mana for a Spell Bomb, then I probably wouldn't have done that, but I can just get it right back. Yeah, I have quite a few Jund gameplay videos on the channel. It's one of my most played decks and also most accomplished decks, I guess. I've gotten the most trophies with it. So, and at least 2 or 3 videos with Gixian Infiltrator. I like the Gixian a lot. I know it's kind of fallen out of favor, but I usually still play 2 in my deck, and I like it a lot. So, all right. Attacking here, always do the math, but I've gotten pretty good at just kind of having a general vibe and knowing that I'm not going to have enough damage here, even without exactly counting it. I have 5 things I could sacrifice to the Vampire, which would make it an 11 power creature. So the question is just, do I want to sacrifice anything like an Infestation Sage just to get in for a little more damage, grow the Beetle now, knowing that I have an Unearth for later. We only have 1 right of consumption, but that's still something to keep in mind, that you want to have a lot of your power on the same turn. I am going to do it because there's something that I've been meaning to talk about. Maybe I need to make a video about it or something. But it's important to get your Beetles and your Carrion Feeders against a Krark. It's important to get them to be at least 2/2, because if they're all 1/1s, then they Krark, sacrifice something, and then you have to sacrifice something to keep your guy alive, and then they can sacrifice something on top of that, and then you can keep going back and forth, and they can keep up with you. Whereas if your Beetle and your Carrion Feeders are already at least 2/2, they have to choose how much they want to sacrifice, because if they sacrifice 2 artifacts, they let 1 resolve, it kills the Krark off, and then you can sacrifice to keep the Beetle and the Carrion Feeder alive. So they have to actually sacrifice. This is assuming there's no toxin analysis, right? But assuming there's no toxin, they have to choose beforehand what they want to commit, which makes a big difference. All right, they have a Reckoner's Bargain up, which is a little annoying. I have Tragic Slip. There's no way I can get in for lethal this turn, even if I Tragic Slip something, even if they didn't have Bargain. So I think I just want to keep it up for a Krark. I do think I want to bring back this Sage. Flyers are good against Krark. I want to have more guys to throw to these guys. So yeah, we'll swing. Marsh dropping the high level tips. I try my best whenever I think about it. They could, of course, also just have like a toxin analysis on one of these, but then I can Tragic Slip it. They block here, so I'm going to have to sacrifice 2 things in order to keep the beetle alive through the monitor. So I'm trying to think if there's any reason not to sacrifice the Link Breaker. The reason would be if I get a supernatural stamina. They are going to try to kill the vampire off. This means they can't have a Krark. I can't imagine a world where they go for this play and didn't just play Krark out, and then go for the toxin. I kind of need this vampire, especially since we used our Unearth, which I think was right. But for that reason, we're going to just Tragic Slip the Refurb. They could also have a Galvanic here. I could grow the vampire out of range of a Galvanic. I could get the beetle to survive the Galvanic, although it would then trade with the monitor. That's probably fine too. Yeah, I have to sack one more thing to keep the beetle alive. It's a little awkward because I want to sack the Link Breaker because I want to keep all my flyers. But yeah, there's the Galvanic Blast. But I also want to keep my flyers for dodging a Krark. But now I'm going to have to... They're making me sacrifice 2 more things to kill the monitor. So I could just let this die. In fact, I could sacrifice it to the vampire, although I'm already blocked, so that doesn't get any for more damage. I could sacrifice 2 creatures. All that's going to do is make the monitor trade. Because this would be a 5/5/7. I could sacrifice everything, including the vampire, to make an 8/8 beetle, which would survive. It's actually not a terrible idea. It only dies to a Death Touch creature. They'd already used 1, or maybe like 2 Mirror Enforcers. But I'm all in on 1 creature, or I sacrifice the Link Breaker and I get the... I'm definitely going to get either the trade, or I'm going to keep the beetle alive. Because I don't think I want the monitor around still. It's just if I sacrifice these Link Breakers... Link Breaker and Mercenary, and then these trade, I'm left with a 1/1 vampire and 2 insects. They're at 15. I don't think that's going to win me the game. So I think I'm going to do a risky line, and we're going to sack everything to keep the beetle alive. Keep it alive, don't think they run Cast Down. Yeah, I'm not expecting Cast Down. It's just if they get chump blockers with this Blood Fountain or whatever, enough chump blockers to keep the beetle tied up for a while, or if they get Death Touch, or just 2 Mirror Enforcers. But I really wish the vampire was like dealing damage here. I guess I'd sack it pre-damage anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is very all-in, but I think having an 8/8 beetle is better than having a vampire and 2 insects. So that's what we're going to do. Takes 4, takes 3, but it's going to survive. I mean, I could just win next turn, theoretically, if they have nothing and I get a Right of Consumption. I'm not expecting a Cast Down, but like, yeah, Refurb with nothing to play. It draws them a card. It can chump block for free. Once they have 4 mana, they can Blood Fountain these back. So even just this, not to mention if they have like a Reckoner's Bargain, is pretty unfortunate. But what are you going to do? I can't not attack. Because if I had 2 insects and a vampire here... I can't really attack with any of those either. Like, trading an insect for a refurb is medium when I have such a small number of cards. They do get the offering. Beetle grows a little bit. I'm going to keep the Swamp in hand to discard to the first refurb. There's an Enforcer. We did get another counter, so actually 2 Enforcers doesn't trade anymore, which is kind of nice. Yep. Out of range double Enforcer. That is nice for us. Or even Enforcer plus Galvanic. They get a great Furnace. Fanatical into Thoughtcast. That's a lot of card draw. Bloodthrone's okay. I mean, they'll probably chump here. If they don't chump, then Right of Consumption opens us up. Okay. They didn't. I wish I just drew the Right of Consumption, but I'll play a vampire. Chromatic Star. Munitions. I mean, that's pretty much going to kill the vampire, but doesn't do much against the beetle. Yeah, throw a star at a vampire. We'll sack it to itself. 10/10 beetle. I mean, Right of Consumption or our Apostle's Blessing, one of which is on the bottom of our deck because we mulliganed. We have one more, would win us the game because Apostles can give protection from artifacts unless they had a Reckoner's Bargain to go up to 13. But another beetle. Well, I'll attack. I'm just hoping for the sacrifice. I guess maybe I should have played beetle first because they're going to chump and sack. This would get a counter. Although if they first like pinged this off, it wouldn't matter. But if they spent mana on a Reckoner's Bargain, yeah, maybe I should have played the beetle first. Now this is just a 1/1. They had the bargain, which is really annoying. You can buy back 2 refurbs. Beetle is so irrelevant now with the munitions. If it was a 2/2, it'd be a little better. I think now I'm just going to let it get discarded to a refurb. I'd rather they just don't have an extra card. I feel like it would have just died to the map. It's possible. A lot of people don't think about the fact that Beetle triggers off of their creatures being sacrificed, and they only had just enough mana to use the bargain, and they had to chump, right? So unless they wanted to throw the map at the beetle and then throw the Mirror Enforcer with the munitions, in which case they wouldn't have Reckoner's Bargain, so that would have been okay too. Then I might have just gotten an extra counter and it would have been a 2/2. I don't know. Well, unfortunately, Apostles and Right of Consumption still not lethal now. I mean, they would still be good draws, but not quite there yet. They're going to take it again. They're crazy. Where's my Right of Consumption? I'm going to play the Sage if they want to pick off spend 2 things to pick it off, that's fine. Plus they're at 2, I mean, this is half of lethal now. There's Krark. They specifically tapped black, so I feel like they have the toxin. And then our game is pretty much over. Yeah, that's annoying. I mean, they go up to 5. Yeah, I mean, I have a 1/1 flyer, but they could pick it off. They're at 5 now. I guess I'll see what I draw, but I can't imagine anything that's going to win us the game now. Unfortunately, we had like 5 turns where we could have drawn a Rite of Consumption. That would have been pretty good. Pick off the Insect, Forcer, Shambler, Tragic Slip, and Fiends. Shamblagast is good for Krark. Sadistic Glee can be good. Cut a Vampire, Link Breaker or 2. Just needed to draw 5 Rites of Consumption. Yeah, exactly. With a bunch of 1/1s, would have been perfect. And Apostle's Blessing could have been able to just keep our Beetle alive too. That would have been decent. Cut 2 Link Breakers. Maybe I do cut 1 Sadistically. Glee is good on an Insect token, but that's basically it in this matchup. I mean, early it could be good on anything, but alright. We need some actual fodder, but otherwise this hand is everything. We don't have another 1-drop, plus I have an Unearth for the Beetle, so we're just going to play that, even if it is a little risky. They could certainly just Great Furnace into Galvanic. Okay. I saw the Great Furnace. I thought they were going to. I mean, I'm going to Vampire. This is what our hand is leading us to play. They could play a Krark. I mean, they could play Krark Toxin right away and just kill both their guys. They are going to Galvanic the Beetle. Okay. I guess Galvanic was probably pretty safe to kill it at some point, but kind of weird they wouldn't have just done it immediately. Can you Apostle Blessing their Shaman to get protection from black when they Toxin? That is a good question. I believe Apostle's Blessing is only creature you control. Unlike like a Vines of Vastwood. Target artifact or creature you control. Yeah, so you cannot, unfortunately. Link Breaker's a great draw. Nested Shambler would have been better, but otherwise this is about the best we could have done. Well, I guess maybe even an Infestation Sage would have been better. But we get to Unearth the Beetle, Link Breaker, and we get to Stamina, which I think we do now. I want the Beetle to be 2/2 for the Krark situation we talked about. Unfortunately, our hand is just not going to win against a Krark Toxin right now. So if they have it, we're toast. You gotta just play the hand you have and accept that this is not a hand that can beat Krark. Now, that could change as if I get 1 Shambling Ghast, right, or a Tragic Slip. Then suddenly I can prevent the Toxin analysis. But for now, it's nothing we can deal with. Luckily, they didn't have it. Do I have Lethal here? I'm trying to think of what they could have. I mean, they could have like cast downs from the sideboard. That seems unlikely. They could have Galvanic Blast, but I could sack Link Breaker. Every sacrifice is +3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because Unearth the Link Breaker, which is 15. That's obviously lethal. Plus I have a Village Rites, which means, yeah. When I sack this Link Breaker, they could Galvanic Blast the Beetle, and I can't do anything about that. But that's going to happen at some point if they have it anyway. There's no way for me to go for lethal without risking that, so we should just do this. We get the Tragic Slip. We have the Unearth. They could have a Reckoner's Bargain to gain 1, but that's not going to change the math. Pump here, because this will be growing smaller, or growing slower. Swing, and we're going to go for it. Sack Mercenary. Sack Mercenary. This is 11, 14, so I'm going to have to sack everything, right? Because that's 14, yep. So if they have a cast down or something, that's not great. I guess I said the 1 was irrelevant, but we are actually going to be dealing exactly 17. So if they have the Reckoner's Bargain, it is irrelevant, but very close. 17 damage. All right, we got there. Could have been a close one, obviously, if they got a Krark or something, but we managed to steal that game. Nothing I want to change. Let's try to do that again. Well, cannot keep a no-lander. Pretty decent hand here, though. We got to put back something. It's going to be fodder. It's going to be one of these two. Link Breaker combos with the Shambler, but of course having the Insect to survive. Krark could be really good in case I get like a Sadistic Glee to put on it. We're probably going to be sacking the Shambling Ghast, or the Shambler to the Stamina. Yeah, I think we just get rid of the Link Breaker. It's close. But hand is good enough that I think we want to take the contingency of having the 1/1. Fiend is interesting. So now I could lead with Feeder and then Fiend away at Krark maybe, assuming they don't kill our Feeder. If they do kill the Feeder, we're in a really bad spot. Or I could just do what we were going to do, which is Shambler Stamina. I think we should do that. If I go Feeder into Fiend, we're slowing our tempo a lot by being safer, trying to get a Krark, but it just slows us down so much, gives them more time to kill the Carrion Feeder. Whereas this way, I build up my clock really quickly with the Shambler Stamina, and then we get to Fiend them. I don't know. They'd need specifically Furnace and Galblast to punish. Yeah, that's true, but there's the Great Furnace. And they have the Great Furnace, so now they need a Galblast, but they probably have that. But I mean, they could either Galblast the Feeder and I still get, well, so if I go for stamina here proactively, they could Galvanic the Carrion Feeder, and then I lose my feeder. Well, I could keep the feeder by losing the Shambler, but then I don't get either of that. I think if I cast Stamina and they Galvanic the Carrion Feeder, we kind of lose out on everything. So I'm going to play it a little slow, because if they at least try to Galvanic it first, then I can Stamina, I can kind of get everything. Yeah, because now we can Fiend, which sees what they have. It kind of forces them to Galvanic if they have that, and then I can Stamina in response. So we missed a little bit of damage, wasted a mana, but I think this is better. Yeah, so now they have that. I'm praying they don't have like a Dispel or something crazy, but we're going to Stamina here, and then I'm going to have to sacrifice the Shambler and like 3 of the squirrels just to keep this alive, but I think that's worth it. I could also have just Stamina'd the feeder, but then I'm just in the exact same spot, except that I don't have a 5/5 feeder, I have a 1/1 feeder, and that's obviously worse. So now it takes 4. Fiend resolves, we'll sack Fiend. Alright. They have Extract a Confession, Toxin Analysis. Those are both pretty bad, but we have Tragic Slip for the Toxin Analysis, so I should take the Extract a Confession. They don't currently have a way to extract with, whatever I'm saying, the evidence, but as soon as this Enforcer goes to the grave, they will. And again, I have an answer to the Toxin. So we're taking Extract. We get to bash in for 6. Next turn, if they don't draw anything relevant, they just have to play Bridge and pay 3 mana for an Enforcer, which is pretty good. They drew a Vault of Whispers. Okay, so they can play Enforcer and hold up Toxin now. See, this is why you're the king. I would have gone for the feeder and gotten blown out. It's a lot of experience. I've gone for the feeder. I've done that in response. Every single misplay that I could have made there, I've made before. And I've learned. Okay, so they're going to block here, and they're going to Toxin Analysis it, which is fine, because I have the Tragic Slip. I could just Tragic Slip proactively, which I would do if I had Lethal here, which we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or no, 5, 11, so I don't quite have Lethal, which means there's no reason to do it proactively, because I'd rather they burn the Toxin Analysis, right? Block, they're going to Toxin. We have to make sure we turn on Morbid first. So we're going to sack this Infestation Sage to the small feeder, try to diversify our threats a little bit, since I don't need more damage on this one this turn. And then we get to Tragic Slip. We do get blanked on the feeder for damage this turn, but we get a 2-for-1. If they draw another Carrion, or not Carrion Feeder, if they draw another Toxin plus a Krark, we'll be in a bad spot, but what can you do? Fanatical Offering, the Bridge. Refurb is decent, draws them a card, and it's a blocker. That's pretty good. So, worst thing they could have is probably another Toxin Analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I can play around that. Even if they block here Toxin, I can sacrifice the Carrion Feeder, Shambler, Squirrel, and Insect to this, hit for 6, and then we write a Consumption to small feeder. So we should be good regardless. Now if they don't do anything, I hit for 4, and then we need to sack this for 2, which means I'd have to sacrifice 2 more things. Theoretically, they could have like an Envelop. I don't know if they would have brought that in. That seems bad. Obviously, we know we have the win, assuming they have nothing. I just want to make sure we're doing this the right way, because like if they don't have a Toxin, they're just going to pass. We deal them 4, then I have to sacrifice 2 more things to the big feeder. Yeah, I guess it's fine. We'll just go to damage, see if they have anything. They did have the Toxin. Okay, let's make sure to do our math again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, this is also blanking their life gain. Now we have to sack the Shambler because it's only dealing 1 and we needed to deal 2 here. So this is 6. We actually don't have to sack the Insect until after damage. Not that it really matters. Then we write a Consumption. That was a close one, but we got there. All right, round 4 here. This is pretty good if we get fodder. Pretty bad otherwise. We're on the play. Like, we have 3 cards that are useless if we don't get any fodder. A Blessing and a Vampire, which frankly are just above useless if we don't get fodder. But if we get 1 piece of fodder, it's really good. And we play 14 in the deck. This is the type of hand that, like, you could... I wouldn't say is a trap, but it's just like, it might work out or it might not. I'm going to keep it. As long as we draw a piece of fodder, like, obviously, well, I'm on the play, so we're not going to draw one turn 1. But by turn 3, after I play the Vampire, like, if I can get a piece of fodder, and the Vampire doesn't die right away, like, then we can be okay. Unearth is okay, because if the Vampire does die, we can get it back, but obviously another card that we need fodder for it to be really good. Looks like we're against Grixis again, or maybe Jund. Nope, more Grixis. Come on. Yeah, that's when we needed something. So now, I think I need to cycle this Unearth. I could wait one turn, and if they try to like kill the vampire, then I get to like stamina village rights it, which is not bad. If I get really desperate, I could stamina it, hit for 3, village rights, and then I have an unearth for it. It's worse if I do draw the fodder. It's better to do that now if I'm not going to draw the fodder, and we've already not drawn it. I think we should. No such thing as a bad matchup if you're just the best. There's still some bad matchups, but it does help to be more familiar with the deck. All right, we got there somewhat. Although now I can't play Beetle because then they both die to a Krark really easily, and I'm not holding up protection. I don't think I want to just hold up Blessing, so I think we'll Sage here. We did get there. Assuming we don't get like wiped here, that's tough. I really want to keep Beetle. I want Unearth for the Sage because I need more fodder. Kind of want Sadistically for the Flyer. I think I might get rid of this Blessing. I'm gonna have enough creatures on our board that I'm going a little wider here. I'm not going all in on one vampire, which means one Blessing is not as good as it could be. I think it's the right thing to get rid of here, even if, again, it's the card I'm trying to show off, and obviously could still be pretty good. Well, play a Beetle. We're just going to attack first, but no matter what they do, certainly if they block here, but we're going to sack the Sage. So I could have sacked the Sage pre-combat, unearthed it. Well, I don't even need to unearth it. I could have then Sadistically onto the Insect. But then I feel like they probably wouldn't block, which maybe would have been better, but it's fine. Sadistically onto the Insect, and then I'm going to unearth the Sage. So this is one of the things we're trying to do to maximize our matchups, which is Sadistically on Insect is one of our best ways to deal with whatever we're playing against. Affinity. Because they can't Krark it down. They could obviously Galvanic Blast it, but I'm hoping... Prism's interesting. But I'm hoping we can grow it out of range of that pretty quickly here, especially if they're tapping out, hopefully. We do have a land, okay. Another Sage. Ooh, okay. I mean, we could probably force a chump, right? Because we have 4 things to sacrifice. We get 4 counters or 4 plus 4 for everything, so that's 16, so definitely. Which means they're going to have to chump. So I'm going to sacrifice another Sage here and do another Sadistic Glee. Well, actually, I played this a little wrong. I should have counted first. I might be able to just win the game. And I was like, oh, I'll Sadistically this other insect, and we have more threats. But I probably should just count if I can win. I maybe wasted to counter, but can we still do it? If they block the vampire, we have 5, and then we get +2 for everything, but I can make it +3 for everything we sacrifice. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 12. No, it's 3. Yeah, we should just have lethal. So I was getting sidetracked with like value, but I think we could just win. Vampire grows the fastest. We know that, so they're going to block that to block the most damage. 5, and we're going to get 1, 2, 3 counters for everything as we sacrifice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 5 is 17. All right, and they're tapped out, of course. Yeah, so I should have played the Glee before we sacrificed that, but again, I was getting sidetracked with... Again, always why you have to do the math. Like, one little turn like this, we're in a great spot even if we don't win this turn, but this could all go poorly if they get like a Krark Toxin plus like a Galvanic. Maybe they even play Cast Down in their main deck, because some decks do. And then it can go really poorly and we could just lose even if we're in a good spot. So gotta do the math. Even I forget sometimes. Sacrifice everything. Sacrifice. I always like to do one last count. Alright, they see the writing on the wall. I like to do one last count before I sacrifice my Bloodthorn Vampire. But yeah, we were going to get there. And that's exactly how you want to start against Affinity. You get those Fiends and Tragic Slips, cut a Vampire. What did we do? 2 Link Breakers before, and a Glee. I mean, Glee's so good, as we can see. It's hard to cut it since this is a matchup we want it for, but it's also hard to cut anything else. Maybe with all the Glees, I can cut... I don't want to cut another, like, one vampire is fine, but since we're already playing 3, I don't want to cut another because we really need the sack outlets to make this work. It might be crazy, but maybe I'm supposed to start cutting Beetle. Like, I've never cut a Beetle in my life, but I need the fodder. With so many Sadistic Glees, which operate as Beetles, we might not need them. There's no way for them to not die to a Krark, and Vampire is necessary. We're going to try something radical. Well, this hand is not good. So, like, yes, if we get fodder, maybe it's okay, but it's not like... good like the last one where it's like, oh, we have stamina on a Shambler, and we have an Unearth, and we have a Village Rights. Like, this is just not very good. So we're going to mulligan that. This one, however, looks incredible. Wish we could keep everything. Probably just a Shambler since we have an Unearth. Of course, they could have Spell Bombs, which makes it worse. So there is a world where maybe I just want to keep both Shamblers and get rid of the Unearth. Problem is, Unearth has the versatility of also being a vampire if they kill that, so I think it's too good to get rid of, but we might regret it. Village Rights is decent. They have red, so I probably just Shambler, because they could just Galvanic Blast. I'm lagging really bad here. Okay. I thought for a second I accidentally passed my turn without casting anything, because it's lagging so much. I guess I'm dropping frames too, so it's possibly my internet. Hopefully it's coming back. They have a Prism, Tragic Slip. Yeah, we're just gonna Vampire. We have the Unearth if it dies. They have a Blood Fountain. Prism doing some work. It's 6 artifacts. We could see some Enforcers. There's a Monitor. Alright, not the worst. Stamina would be probably our best draw. They've stopped us in our upkeep. Alright, Carrion Feeder. So unfortunately, I can't attack really right now. We do have a Rite of Consumption, so I might be playing not to attack at all and just build up the Vampire all in one turn. But currently, even if I used everything in my hand and had mana to do so, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd only be 13. That's why we got to get in for some damage. Tragic Slip makes me want to hold up that against a Krark. Well, I think we're definitely playing Beetle. I could play Carried Feeder, then we are dead to a Krark, even when I have a Tragic Slip. The problem is if I hold a Tragic Slip here, I don't have any way to use the mana. If I don't use the slip, I kind of think Carrion Feeder is necessary to get to enough damage next turn, because then I could like Unearth, maybe Tragic Slip something, but it's just so bad if they Krark. I think we should take it slow past the turn. Not my favorite spot to be. Interesting. They didn't even use that to tap an attacker, because they weren't worried about it, I suppose. Thoughtcast, Refurb. Probably Carrion Feeder. It's a little redundant. It doesn't seem to be doing what we need right now. We're really close. I mean, if we get Supernatural Stamina, we could be in a really good spot. I mean, I kind of like this attack because it lets us just get in with our guys. We do need something. That would have been nice last turn so that I could have Village Rites this on the end step. I don't have the mana for Rite of Consumption. If we take another 7, we're at 6. I think I have to just accept that we died to 2 Galvanics probably. Or I could just hold back a Chump Blocker maybe. I think I want to Village Rites the Shambler. Probably Unearth it, hope for a Swamp for Tragic Slip. This is not great if they have a Galvanic here. We're pinched on mana. We are pinched on just about everything, like creatures, mana, I don't know. Kind of an awkward spot to be in. Like with Rite of Consumption, we could definitely set up a way to win like next turn, especially if we get like, I think Swamp Stamina is probably our best draws, because then I can, yeah, see they get to Galvanic, the Beetle here, which I don't love, obviously. I did know that was a risk. See, 2 swamps I didn't want. Just 1. Now I could unearth a Beetle, but I don't think we're ever getting to Rite of Consumption then, so I think it has to be a Shambler. But that's not very good either. Ugh. They take it, but we don't have the mana to Rite of Consumption. Also, we'd be 1 damage short anyway. Alright. Also, they have the Surveillance Cam, which can tap our guy, so I really need a Stamina, so I don't even need to attack, basically. I attack with everything. If I take it, then I die to 1 Galvanic Blast. I don't think I can afford that, but I also really need this Shambler, so I kind of think I just Tragic Slip the Familiar and accept that a Krark would kill our board. They have a Reckoner's Bargain, that makes things a little tougher, and they have a Monitor and a Blood Fountain. Okay. I mean, if I get a Stamina and they don't block the Vampire, I could win. Apostle's Blessing isn't going to do enough. I can give Pro Blue 1, 2, 3, make this 7 power, hit for 14. It's kind of close, but it's not good enough. If I do that and I Rite of Consumption, it's just not going to matter, and they have enough damage in the air that we're going to lose. I really think if we just had that land, like if we had 1, 2, 3 on curve, we would have been okay. Like, there are definitely hands, plenty of hands that we've had where 2 mana is enough, but this was one with the Rite of Consumption especially, where we really needed 3 to be able to do enough stuff, and it didn't come until too late, and then it came, the 3rd land was what we wanted, the 4th one was like flooding, so it was just really awkward. This hand would be incredible with a Carrion Feeder. As is, I think it's unplayable. Yeah, we got a mulligan. Alright, this one's good enough. Even on 1, we're gonna have a rough game if we don't get more lands, but I am gonna start with a Feeder. They probably have tap lands, so it's probably safe for a couple turns, plus I have an Unearth if they do just like Galvanic Blast it right away. They have a Seat, that could be for a Surveillance Cam. Let's see, what do we start with? I think Sage, so we can potentially get the Sage Insect Glee going. Mesmeric Fiend isn't a bad draw as long as I get a Swamp. They have a Monitor. That's not terrible. For now, we're just going to play a Shambler. I'll attack with a Feeder. If they want me to sack 3 things to eat their guy, that's fine. But if not, I'll just pass. Prism. It could have a Galvanic now. Another Monitor. I mean, I generally don't care too much about the Monitors, but they're annoying me a little bit right now. Okay, so I could Sadistically up on the Shambler. Then, problem is if I attack with the Carrion Feeder or the Shambler, they could block, and I'd have to lose one of them to be able to keep the other alive, so I don't love that. I think a 2nd land would just be incredible here. I think for now, we need to just play another Shambler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could attack with a Carrion Feeder. If they double block, I sack everything. I eat them both. Then if they have Krark, Toxin. It's not amazing, but I think it's probably fine. I'll swing. Yeah, and if they just take it, I think I'm just dealing them one. I would love to do more, but with 1 mana, I just really need to make the most of this Sadistic Glee, I think, which means not sacrificing anything until later. I mean, they might not have the best hand either, right? Even if that finds me a swamp, it's still only 1 mana to mess with this turn, and if it doesn't find me a swamp, then I'm just really in a bad spot. I don't want to Sadistic Glee onto anything while they have so much mana up. So yeah, I'm going to Village Rites the Sage. We haven't seen any Metallic Rebukes or anything, so there's no reason to think this wouldn't resolve. If they Galvanic the Feeder, then I'd have to sack both Shamblers to keep it alive. I probably would just let it go since I have Unearth. Now I get my land. I don't even mind the 3rd at this point. It's fine. Sage. I'm just going to pass. I assume they'll have some sort of Fanatical, although nothing they necessarily really want to sack. I mean, maybe Prism now that they have red mana is fine. No, they sack the Cam, which is interesting because it could be 2 cards later anyway. Tap the Insect, sure. All right, if we don't get Pulverized this turn, we might have a decent shot. There's the Pulverizing, though. So they probably just have Toxin, but if they don't, this is the making Carrion Feeder a 2/2 I was talking about. You want it to be a 2/2 before the Krark is on the field, because then if they don't have Toxin, they have to commit to as much as they want to sacrifice first. But of course they have Toxin. If this could have just happened after I Sadistic Gleed up an Insect, which I could have done last turn, but I was too much of a coward about it, probably. I probably should have just done it. Now we're going to lose because we're going to have nothing. I mean, I can Unearth the Feeder, but that's not even good enough. Whereas if I'd done the Sadistic Glee, I could have an Insect that's like a 10/10 at the end of this, right? So, yeah, I should have done that. They do sacrifice 2 things, which is fair, because if I let it resolve, their Shamblers would make squirrels, but since they did this, I have to... there is still reason to sacrifice all these, because they gain less life, even if it's all going to die anyway. Yeah, I was too worried about the... I mean, they could have a Galvanic, but I was too worried about a Galvanic on an Insect from the Sadistic Glee, but if they did this, then I just don't really have much recourse. And they have a Refurb, which I guess is going to discard this Swamp, as much as I want it. I think I need every piece of... actual cards that I can. They're going to start attacking. So I have like 2 turns to make something happen. If I get a Swamp, I can Unearth the Feeder and then Mesmeric Fiend. If I don't get a Swamp, I probably Unearth the Feeder and I Sadistic Glee on an Insect. Carrion Feeder, Sadistic Glee, and I'm just going to hold that other Insect back to Chump Block, I suppose. Start growing this. Well, I'll try to trade with the Refurb if I get that option. Another Krark. Fantastic. Sacrifice just 1 thing. So here's the other situation where I was talking about. I could have sacrificed the Insect in response to make this a 2/2. I didn't have enough fodder to really make it matter, and I kind of want the Insect. So I'm just going to sack the Feeder to itself. It doesn't really matter at that point. Well, it doesn't really matter. But we will do that. Grow this Insect. I mean, if they don't get a Galvanic Blast, which I'm assuming we're about to see. Yep. If they didn't have Galvanic Blast and this Insect could grow big enough, we could actually get there. Win the game potentially. But they kind of had everything. I guess I block Familiar. And now we have a Mesmeric Fiend that... they have a million Krarks. Oh my gosh. This was really close. Pretty unfortunate that we lost this one. It probably was user error, though. I probably should have... I mean, they could have been sandbagging that Galvanic Blast for forever. But if they didn't have it and I'd put it on the Insect, we probably would have won. Because they never could have killed it. It would have blocked all their stuff. Eventually it would start making them chump block. Yeah, should have just gone for it. Can't keep a no-lander. This one's fine. Tragic Slip could be really good in the match, depending. I guess we have enough fodder with these 2. Then I'll get rid of a Shambler, because I'll probably find some more as well. We'll start with a Sage. Hello, do you think Pachuca Bog, main deck in Black Sac, what do you think of it? I do not like any tap lands in Black Sac. I've tried several. Baron Moor, Dross Pits, Escape Tunnel. You keep, as we're seeing right now, you keep way too many 1-landers for a tap land to be reasonable. Because if you are forced to keep a 1-lander and then that 1 land is a tap land, you've time walked yourself. You've lost an entire turn. Yes, it's a turn of 1 mana, but like that's pretty relevant in this deck, and so I don't think it's viable. I know a lot of other people have played with tap lands and had some decent success, but I can't say I'm a fan. I'm gonna Village Rites this guy, trade here I guess, trying to just stave off some damage. Beetle, Link Breakers. I could Vampire, but I feel like it just dies too easily right now. I think we just play more fodder. Pass. Affinity gaining 4 more flyers, turning their board wipe into an asymmetrical wipe is just so unfair. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's mostly always been like an asymmetrical wipe because like they've only ever run 4 Mirror Enforcers, which they still are running, and they just mostly don't play them when they are about to Cork Toxin, but no, it's very good. Chain Lightning the Bug. They bushwhackered. I need to save some fodder. I think we're gonna block like this. We're taking 6, which I don't love, but if I don't get a land, I'm gonna play the vampire either way. If I get a land, then I can also play beetle, but if I don't get a land, I'm probably just doing vampire. Perfect. Thanks. Someone was asking about Bojuka Bog and Black Sac, but I don't play with it, so I didn't know what to say about it. Yeah. Obviously, like, Bojuka Bog is an incredible card. It's, you know, people play a whole sideboard card that's basically Bojuka Bog in Tormod's Crypt or Nile Spellbomb, Relic of Progenitus. That getting that for free staple to a land is generally really good, but we're just so low to the ground, such an aggressive deck, 17 lands. And we're not like a 17 land deck in the way that like Blue Terror is a 16 land deck in that it also has 4 Lorien Revealed. We're just 17 lands. So you just cannot really afford any tap lands I've found. Every single time I've tried a tap land, it immediately loses me at least one game in the league that I play it in. I don't think it's worth it. They did just Chain Lightning us. We're at 6. I fear they might have another bolt of some sort, so I definitely have to go on the offensive here. I could Tragic Slip one of their guys proactively, buff the squirrel. I think we'll just attack here with these guys, leave back some blockers in case they get haste guys and whatnot, because we also have a Tragic Slip, and the Shambling Ghast can pick something off. They block both. I'm going to simply sack the Shambling Ghast. -1/-1 to the Burning Tree, so that I don't have to sack anything else in order to keep both of our guys alive. Because I might want to sacrifice these when I can actually use the extra damage from the Bloodthorn Vampire next turn, assuming we don't just die to, 2 Lightning Bolts on their turn. Well, they're passing. That's a good sign. Do we have lethal? 3, 4, 5, and then everything we sacrifice is +3. It's 1, 2, 3, so that's 9, so that's 14. So no. No, we do not. So let's attack for 5. Leave back a squirrel just in case they get like... I do also have a Tragic Slip, but if they get like Rally, Bushwhacker, plus a Fire Blast, trying to avoid that. There is a Rally. Just attack with one guy so that they can have a blocker. So if I block here and sacrifice, then this is 4, 5, 6, 12. So we're still 1 short if we don't draw anything. That is Tragic Slipping this blocker, which means I kind of want to take the 1. What do we lose to? Galvanic Blast plus Lightning Bolt? Yeah, that's pretty likely. I feel like I think I got a block. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I get anything to sacrifice, it's going to be lethal anyway, so I might as well just let these trade, I think. So if I get any creature here, I should be good. Even that one. Because we'll slip the soldier. And we have 5 plus 9. This is 11. So yeah, we got to sack the vampire. I guess if they have a Fire Blast for the beetle, they could survive here. Nope. All right, we got there. Against Rally, we have quite a few cards for Rally now with Vampiric Lynx, Sylvok Lifestaff, Drowning Star with Spinning Darkness. This is not one where I care about the Apostle's Blessing. I would keep Blessing for Red Madness probably, but they have a few more cards that are relevant. Whereas here we have like Sadistic Glees to help with stuff. I don't need the Tragic Slips. And what else? If I just want to take out some fodder maybe. Vampire is worse, so I usually cut down to 2 of those and then a Sage here. With the popularity of Golgari Food Pest, what would be your thoughts on an Orzhov list that uses Basilisk Gate, Guardian of the Guild Pact to keep Pestilence around? I think Orzhov Pestilence with Guardian is a deck that's been around for a little while. Like, I mean, not very favored right now, but it's, from back in the day. I don't know if they've specifically tried gates in that list. I'm sure that they would be pretty reasonable at this point. And yeah, I mean, you're missing out on green, but you could still do the food package in white-black. You're just you're losing out on Heaped Harvest, and the big thing you're losing out on is Colony Garden. But with a Gates package, that could maybe offset that a little bit. Cauldron Familiar plus Guardian of the Guild Pact to keep it around. Like, that seems cool. It is a deck that used to exist, so I'm not sure it's like something no one's thought of, in which case it's probably been tried a little bit. Also, Sacred Cat probably would play some of those as well. But I bet it could have some potential. This hand needs fodder so badly, but it's incredible if we get fodder. Although one piece of fodder is not even that good. It's good, but it's not like... I mean, I guess I can carry Feeder Sadistically to a 5/5, one guy, and then Vampiric Link. We're going to keep it. One piece of fodder, the hand is pretty decent. 2, and we're moving. Second Carrion Feeder. I guess I'll just play that since I have 2 now. If they just want to bolt, that's fine. But yeah, I think Orzhov Pestilence sounds like it could be a sweet one for sure. I'm not sure I've seen anyone try Orzhov Pestilence with like the food package. So that could be cool. Although I've played like an Abzan Pestilence deck in the past. All right, Shambagast is not bad. It's not quite the fodder I was hoping for because it's not double fodder. And playing Carrion Feeder and Shambagast, Carrion Feeder dies and then we're kind of in a bad spot. Can't really play Beetle. I think I just play Shambagast. And then next turn I hope to get like a Infestation Sage or something, and then I can play Beetle, Feeder, Sage, and the following turn do this. That's my goal. I don't even think I want to trade this off, which is unfortunate because that's kind of what it's here for. But I think I need the sack triggers too much. We'll take 3. Clearly got some bolts and stuff up. This is why this type of hand is generally not keepable. We have a lot of fodder, but also if you just don't get it, you lose. If I play Carrion Feeder and Beetle and they have 2 bolts, they just both die. I think I just have to hope they don't have 2 bolts. Probably supposed to play these in the other order because now I can't protect the Beetle at all, but they're probably not going to have a Lava Dart, so it probably won't matter. I could Sadistic Glee onto the Beetle. If they have a bolt, though, it doesn't help. I think I wait just to see if I can like have one of them survive at the end. I don't know. It's possible by not blocking here again, which I'm going to do. I mean, I could just die to 3 bolts and a Fire Blast, whatever. But if I can survive and I can get, and they don't kill our creatures, and I can get like a double body fodder creature, Vampiric Link up a Beetle with a Sadistically, like, we might be able to get there. Galvanic on the Feeder. I think I'm just going to sack it to itself. I could sack the Ghast first. I don't think we need that, because they could still kill the Beetle regardless. I can't do anything about that. If they want to kill it, it's gonna die. Yep, there's a bolt for it. We get a Bloodthrone Vampire, and I'm just gonna throw Glee right on it. Hope they don't have another removal spell, which they don't. So I could right now sacrifice Ghast to pick off a Soldier. This gets 2 counters. It dodges a Galvanic then, but not a Bolt. Or I could wait till they go to combat, and if they attack, I could maybe trade 3 of these. But then it's susceptible to Galvanic as well. It's tough, but I think we gotta just hope they don't draw any removal. End the festivities. Well, I will sack the Ghast to keep our Vampire alive, assuming they don't have any other way to kill it. Pick off a Soldier, which grows it again. Rally. Okay. If they attack, I get another counter, and then my Vampiric Link starts being pretty good. Alright, if I get fodder, oh, perfect. This is just like game over, probably. So I can just attack, make sure this doesn't die even to a Galvanic or anything. Perfect. Sack the Shambler, I get +4 because it's going to die. It's going to kill something. It's going to +2. I hit for 8 and I gain 8. All right. 4-1, which I intentionally got because it's 4-1 April 1st. So I definitely didn't lose because I couldn't get there or I made a mistake. No, we did, I wouldn't say through, but we definitely didn't play it perfectly. I think we could have gotten there maybe. It really depends on if they had the Galvanic Blast at that specific time. And if I wasn't so much of a coward, I could have Sadistically up our Insect. I might have been able to get that game. But 4-1 is still very good with the deck. Apostle's Blessing was okay. It came up a couple of times. There wasn't really a time where we had it where it was bad, which is a good sign, because if every time we're holding it, it's like, oh, I wish this was anything else, a piece of fodder, a grower, a removal spell, then obviously that's an indication it's probably not what you want. But every time we had it, we either like discarded it or mulliganed it, or we used it to good effect. We didn't end up getting to use it for unblockability at all. There were some times where if we drew it, it could have come up, but we didn't have it at that time. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.